11.25 inches, which is just right. Gives a nice half wave pattern. And at VHF, yeah, this going waveform, that doesn't resonate. So it's going to add it up 37, 38 inches. It still sees the half wave. That's how it knows. So it's kind of like it's a trap, right? In a sense, it's a more sophisticated UHF trap. And so is the audio held up, Laura?
Sometimes it goes. It's okay. I think just keep going. We'll make it
Okay,
work.
okay.
Thank you.
Yeah, I think it's just the bandwidth. It has nothing to me talking on the microphone. Late night, and these days, every nobody watches over-the-air TV anymore, including my wife.
Okay.
And and they're going 4K now. You know, everyone wants 4K. Boy, does it take up bandwidth. And we're just trying to do Zoom. Okay, and then we also make a roll-up version of this. Just if one of my students says, "What happens if you made it in a portable roll-up?" Yeah, we figured it out all in one piece. It's kind of fancy. We put heat shrinkable tubings in here and you hide it. And yeah, you can roll it all up in a little package and take it camping and still get the same performance. Now, the only difference between the roll up and when it goes into a PVC pipe, this is when it goes into the PVC pipe, is the PVC pipe also slows down the speed of light by about 3 or 4%. That makes sense, right? It's not going through air. So if you look at the dimensions of this, like 17 inches, 15 1/4, if you take the roll up, then in other words, this goes in the PVC pipe, it's a base station. But on a roll up version, it just rolls up and you just, when you're ready to unpack it in a backpack in a camping trip, you have a little loop here, you throw a little rope up a branch and you hoist it up. There's no PVC pipe because you don't want to carry it along while you're hiking. But now it's transmitting directly into air. So now it is the speed of light. It's transmitting directly. You notice instead of 17, it's 18. Instead of 16 and 15, it's 16 1/4. It's about 2 inches longer. It's about 2 inches longer. So between sticking this into a pipe and not, it's 2 inches, needs to be 2 inches longer when it's outside the pipe because the pipe slows down the speed of light. And so the other question is, okay, the PVC pipe, is it important? Yeah, it's important what type you use. We tested a bunch. We found that Lowe's item 23990 was the best. Some of the other ones, again, we're pretty critical on this. We got good spectrum analyzers and network analyzers. We looked at it, they all cost about the same. The Lowe's one seems to work the best. And it's quite available, in most cities. Most cities have a Lowe's. Uh, and you see, does Ed's principle work by putting that little stub, by stopping the wave, those lobes? Yeah, it does. Use a this is a standard 2 meter J-pole at UHF. Here's just a reference. Get back about 6 dB. 6 dB, that's a lot. Again, the way you compare that is it makes your 4-watt handy-talkie, if you're using the wrong antenna, look like a 1-watt walkie-talkie. Or, if you have a 60-watt transmitting antenna and it's going into the wrong antenna, and you're using it UHF, but you're using it a standard 2 meter antenna, it may have a good SWR, but it's the same as transmitting at 15 watts instead of 60. So you don't want that loss. And we measured this, sorry, we're pretty good with time. We actually measured this. The reason why we measured this very carefully was because I always need master's students' projects. One of my students' project was, how do you officially measure the gain of an antenna? Because people claim all these gains. It turns out when we looked into it, to measure gain of an antenna, you need, of course, calibrated equipment that's certified by the National Institute of Standards and Technology. But then after that, what do you do? In an antenna, you really want to measure it on a rainy day, a foggy day, and a clear day. Most people measure it on a clear day. That's probably the best conditions around. Foggy day, it starts attenuating. Rainy day, it really attenuates. So true gain, you should measure at least 5 measurements on each rainy day, a foggy day, and a sunny day, and take the average, and then claim these as true gain of measured gain. And we did this. And when you actually do that and take all the averages, there's at least 15 measurements here between a quarter wave antenna, a rubber duck antenna, a standard JPO, VHF JPO antenna, and our dual band JPO. So that VHF, and what this number is, it's a reference point. This is not that fancy. This is just in a parking lot. We did it on a Sunday. Fixed distance in a parking lot, so cars aren't coming in on a Sunday. This is at the school parking lot, in fact, so it's hardly any cars. But we get a reference point about 50 yards away with a Keysight spectrum analyzer. You get minus 24.7 dB with the ground plane. On a rubber duck, you lose about 6 dB, which is what you would expect. So rubber ducks at VHF do not work very well. Close range, they're fine, but it's not a very efficient antenna. The VHF J-pole is pretty good. It actually is a little better, right? Instead of minus 24.7, it's about minus 23.34. It's not significantly better than a quarter wave mobile, but 1.5 dB. If you listen very carefully on a weak signal, you can probably tell, but instruments you certainly can tell. And our dual band J-pole is about, at VHF now, performs like a standard J-pole within 0.1 dB. Very, very close. You do lose a little because of that little stub, but it's close enough. Now, the thing is, how about a UHF? Our configuration claims to work at both VHF and UHF. So then you compare it to a UHF quarter wave, and here's the reference point, minus 38.8. Use a rubber duck at UHF. The losses aren't as bad, maybe 2 or 3 dB, because of, a UHF rubber duck's about 5-6 inches. It's close to a quarter wave. So it all depends on how good your handy-talkie chassis is. Standard J-pole is awful, as you would expect. It loses minus 45, and the references is minus 38.8. That's 7 dBs off. It's quite a bit off. You would not miss this. Unless the signal's strong, you'll miss it on a handy-talkie. But if it starts getting weak, you'll notice it. And then certainly in our instruments, you can measure it. But if you use our dual band J-pole, most of it comes right back. It comes right back. Minus 38.8, minus 38.9, in that range, within a dB. That's good. That's really, really good. So it does come back. It really does work. Here's our lab. Oh, this is when we were testing it back in 2008 with my old 8753 there. We still have that. Nobody uses it anymore. Everyone uses these little nanos. They work fine. For what? Here's our newer Keysight that we use, a 5062. But for most uses, one of these little nanos is really handy. For $100, you can't beat it. Oh, what's this? Oh, so people are also curious about the stub. How good is that stub? Yeah, it's right about there. It's not an infinity. This is when you short circuit one end. So it should, short circuit show infinity, but because there's losses and everything, it's very hard. Even a resonant cavity doesn't get out exactly to infinity, right? Infinity is really hard to actually get to, as long as it's towards that direction. It'll help you, and it works, helps a lot. No, this is the stub. This is just the stub. I put my hand around it and everything. Yeah, it's still about there. Everything else changes, but where resonant is still very, very good. And at 146, it's way high impedance, like a wire. Yeah, this is really high impedance at 146. The stub is not resonant. It's way out here. And it's fine. See, resonance is right over there. Let's see. And here's the antenna I was telling you about. You hold it from the bottom. When you hold it from the bottom, this holds up forever. If this is at an angle and had some horizontal force, it will have some problems. But if you hold it at the bottom, it will stand up. Okay, so here's the roll-up version. See, it's all rolled up, and you can put it into a Ziploc bag. What we do is we include a 6-foot extension with a male and female connector here, so you can extend it, and you can put 2 or 3 of these together. If you're camping or something, you can buy a couple of them. And if you have 2 or 3, that's enough. The losses start getting in the coax. So 1 is fine, 2 is okay. By 3, I'm not so sure whether that extra height's going to help you that much compared to the losses you'll get with the coax. And we sell these. My students, we build these little kits that we sell to clubs because that's how we raise our money for our tuitions and all this stuff. That's how they work themselves through graduate school. But this kit we sell with the connectors. It's a BNC, but then we sell it with the adapters, the SMA male, SMA female. We include the extension, And what's the price on the discounted price is like 40. I'll mention it later. It's like $40. You get 20% off the our web price. And we also sell this too. Oh, okay. So if you like this talk, if you understand me, if my audio came through enough, I apologize for that. Um, I'll give a talk on how do you actually make a gain antenna out of this JPO configuration. Again, the JPO configuration is really nice because it's a DC short. It's a DC short. So don't ever have anyone convince you you need a lightning arrestor. You do not need a lightning arrestor with a JPO. It's a DC short. That's exactly what a lightning arrestor does with a dipole or a ground plane where it's an open circuit. But if there's like a lightning storm close by, it shorts out any charge. It can't hold charge. The gas in that tube in a lightning arrestor will short out any charge, but you can't hold charge in a dipole anyway. It's a DC short. So a lightning arrestor will not help you. And by the way, I do not like the term lightning arrestor. People say, I need a lightning arrestor because I want to arrest lightning. You cannot arrest lightning. If you can arrest lightning and find a technique, you better patent it and be a multi billionaire, right? I mean, what it does, what a lightning arrestor does, it, a direct hit will kill you. Okay, it'll burn up your house. So, an indirect hit, and of course there are, because you get lightning storms 10 miles away, a mile away. It's millions of volts will induce magnetically to your location, right? Your antenna outside, and might induce 30 or 40 volts. And if it does induce 30 or 40 volts, it will go down through your coax into your radio and it'll burn out your front end. And then you have to replace the front end. And I've replaced a lot of front ends because of that. A lightning arrestor will protect that. So that's all it does, because lightning around you within a 10-mile radius, that's pretty common. And that's millions of volts. All it has to do is induce 20 to 30, 40 volts from here and bring it down to there. And your MOSFET front end will more than likely not survive. And it's an easy fix usually. You just have to replace the FET, but still a hassle. Okay. Oh, here's the tri-band version. I'll give another talk. If you like this 2-meter, 70 centimeter talk, we also make one where FEMA asks us, can you add 220 to it? And I found a way to add 220 with these interesting coils. So I'll give another talk on that. Let's see. Oh, I don't sell these radios. It's in the slide because, some of these Chinese radios, we give out these in our raffles every month at our club meetings. These are the tri-band ones at a really reasonable price, $60, $100. So they work pretty well. Probably doesn't match up to an ICOM or something like that, but they seem to work pretty well. I use one. Oh, here's one of my other cool radios, I think. Again, I don't build these. Oh no, I said we don't build these completely, but my students put these together. It's one of their projects. They don't build the kit, we buy the boards. But what they have to do is go through all the menus, test the SWR,